It's Boyzone. You're listening to Dubai Eye 103.8. Helen Farmer with you. And tomorrow, a little birdie tells me that in the studio, we're going to have some finalists for our 103.8 Ramadan reunion. We've been asking you to submit your stories. Tell us the people in your lives, in your families that you want to bring to Dubai. Basically reuniting you with a loved one, flying them from their home country to Dubai for the holiday of a lifetime. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear some finalists, and maybe your phone might be ringing today to see if you're free in the afternoon to come into the studio for a chat. Dubai Eye 103.8 Ramadan Reunion is proudly powered by Alain Water, by Jill Georgette, Central Trading Company, Chemist Warehouse Pharmacy, Danube Properties, Hardy's, Juawa Jewellery, Janan, Elsie Wakiki, MC Motor, Rakiz and Ruya Bank. And I'm so excited to hear these stories in person tomorrow.
This is Eye on Education on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Horizon International School, a supportive, student-focused international community school offering premium quality British education for boys and girls from the ages of 3 to 18.
We are talking about the importance of environmental education. It is increasingly being recognised, but how do we teach students, and how can students teach us without it being scary and doom-laden? What if that climate conversation could be tackled peer-to-peer? That's what's happening at Repton Dubai, where senior students have launched their own environmental podcast, Conservation Calls, to help make this feel more accessible to everyone in their school. And we've got Year 10s, Andrew Segal and Wania and Mirza, two of the pupils working on the project in the studio. Now, normally we have to tell people where to sit and how to use microphones, but with you two, I'm not bothered at all. It sounds like you're total professionals in all things podcasting. It's great to meet you both. Wania, take us back to the origin story of the podcast. What made you want to start it in the first place?
Okay, so hi.
Hi.
Gosh, my name is Wania Mirza, and me, along with Andrew Segal, are two of the founding members of Conservation Calls, the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund podcast at Repton Dubai. So, it all started in, I believe, January or February of 2024, when we were first given the opportunity to create a script for this alluring podcast. Then we started recording and finalizing the script in April or May, and the first episode was uploaded in June, and it discussed the Hibiscadelphus woody, which to this day is a plant that we still talk about.
Well, I mean, I've never heard those words before, so I'm already learning something. What was it about that first podcast that made you so excited that you wanted to continue it?
I'd say it was just the fact that this man, Ben Nyberg, brought this plant, Hibiscadelphus woody, essentially back from extinction. Humanity did not know that this plant still existed, but him rediscovering it in Hawaii was what made people how do I phrase this? It's what made people realize that extinct creatures didn't have to stay extinct forever. And
that's so exciting. Like, for you to meet someone who's actually made a real life impact on the future, that's a real honour. And it brings it to life. And Andrew, I know you're talking about real issues and real species and real people. How would you think that these interviews and this research has changed how you see nature and the world? Has it made an impact on you personally?
Yeah, definitely. Before we do a episode, we have to do a little bit of research about the plant or animal that we're doing. And it's just really nice to get to know these new plants that we never heard before. And it's like so crazy how we don't even know they're going extinct. It is just flying under our radars.
And it's an interesting thing about the jobs of the future, bringing back extinct species and, how fast everything's moving. But what's so lovely about what you're doing is actually taking a bit of a pause and reflecting and going, can we make a difference through education, through telling stories? And Wania, do you think that your generation, no pressure, do have the power to make a difference when it comes to protecting the environment?
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm a firm believer that anyone can make an impact on anything they desire if they put enough time and effort into it. Mm-hmm. But on the idea of my generation helping the environment, yes, absolutely. Now, my idea behind this is that us Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, even Gen Betas, we are living in a world where we were raised partially by technology, and that technology has allowed us to see and to see the environment in ways never thought of before. Of course, we still have things like Green Planet, but those aren't our only avenues. Open any desktop in the world, you will see images of nature. You go online, all the wallpapers, images of nature. You walk outside, there's nature. Our generation is experience the environment, the flora, the fauna, everything for the first time in HD video quality.
Yeah, and I guess the hope is that the podcast then becomes an invitation for people to actually get outside and feel more passionate and feel more connected, and then feel a sense of ownership over it and wanting to affect change. And as you said, you're interviewing incredible people who are on their own personal missions. And do you think that, learning more, Andrew, can actually help it feel more real? It can help it feel more personal and maybe a little bit less abstract and global. It feels closer to home.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like we just connect to nature, and with this podcast, we're trying to connect everyone else that's listening to nature. We're trying to spread the awareness about all these different species, and it's just so great to just feel nature in a way.
Can I ask, is this something you'd want to do in the future, Andrew? Are you looking at working in environmental issues? Is this something I don't want to put pressure on, what do you want to be when you grow up? But I am interested if this has become a passion for the future as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a really nice hobby to do. Just spread awareness, go work in some places just to, improve the environment, help these extinct, almost extinct animals come back, and it's just nice.
What about you, Wania? Because with the podcast, obviously you're talking about the environment, but the skills you learn through writing scripts, through interviewing people, how has it informed your decisions, do you think, about what you study and what comes next for you?
Oh, it has thank you for that question. It has definitely made me think of the environment as not just something that exists, but something that I exist within. I know it seems like common knowledge, but the reason I care about the planet is because I live there. And this podcast and the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund and Repton and all of this stuff has just made me all that more aware. So in the future, for context, I want to go into engineering. One thing I believe is truly the future is hydrogen cars, for instance, where I believe that emissions are truly the bane of my existence. And so things like the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund, once again, have showed me that all of this flora and fauna exists, and more importantly, that it needs to be protected. Because while things, I know I keep bringing it up, but the Viscadelphus woody, while it is no longer extinct, it is still critically endangered. And I still believe, tying it back to our generation, that while we don't need to save them from the brink of extinction, we do need to make it more comfortable for the nature around us to coexist with modern humanity.
What's lovely about what you're really talking about today is that it is big issues. It is extinction of certain species. It is climate change. And a lot of people get paralyzed by that. And a lot of people, like you, feel empowered by it and see it as an opportunity to educate, to inspire, to learn. Lastly, Andrew, because we're going to run out of time, why do you think it's important for schools to include nature, outdoor learning as part of the curriculum? Because that caring has to start at an early age. What's your take?
Yeah, it's really important that they should include nature, because you just don't really feel connected if you've never seen it or experienced it before. It's just you don't feel like you're responsible for these extinction of animals and plants. It's not you, but in reality, it really is.
We're all connected. Guys, well done. It's no mean feat to start a podcast or to interview someone or to put yourselves out there and come on the radio and share this message of passion. And I've learnt something, so I appreciate your time. Andrew and Wania speaking to us from Repton Dubai. The podcast is called Conservation Calls, and I think these guys are names to watch, the power players of the future.
Dubai Eye 103.8's Weather Check.
Sponsored by Air Arabia. Get ready for lunch.